Hello, Creep Factor here. This biopic is about the amazing David Bowie. This one is dedicated to Crazy Granddad. Cheers, brother. Did you know David Bowie's fascination with performance began at a young age? Inspired by his half-brother who introduced him to jazz and beat poetry, this unlikely influence would set the stage for one of music's most iconic figures. David Bowie, a cultural chameleon, reshaped the music world with his experimental sound and daring persona. From Ziggy Stardust to Thin White Duke, his influence stretched far beyond music, impacting fashion, art, and even the way we perceive identity. But Bowie wasn't just a rock star. He was a walking contradiction, leading alter egos and real-life experiences into his art. Understanding the true David Bowie means peeling back the layers of all his complex persona. What drove him to create such boundary-pushing work? And how did his personal life fuel his most unforgettable characters? Let's dive into 10 surprising facts about David Bowie. 1. He nearly became a monk after exploring Buddhism in the 1960s. 2. His first hit, Space Oddity, was inspired by the moon landing. 3. Bowie's Berlin trilogy redefined his career while living in a self-imposed exile in Germany. 4. He collaborated with artists like Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, and Queen, influencing multiple genres. 5. Bowie refused to define his sexuality, embracing ambiguity and pushing boundaries of gender expression. 6. He designed many of his stage outfits, like the iconic Ziggy Stardust jumpsuits. 7. Bowie's heterochromia, 2 different colored eyes, became part of his unique look after a teenage brawl. 8. He experimented with avant-garde theater, working with meme artists and serial performance art. 9. His persona was often in response to his inner battles, particularly with his struggles with fame and addiction. 10. Bowie was a major influence on sci-fi and cyberpunk culture, even playing an alien in the film The Man Who Fell to Earth. David Bowie's constant reinvention wasn't just a clever marketing ploy or an effort to stay relevant. It was deeply rooted in his personal struggles, need for self-expression. One of the most surprising insights into Bowie's life is how his iconic personas, like Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, and the Thin White Duke, were more than stage characters. They were manifestations of his inner battles with identity, fame, and addiction. David Bowie's constant reinvention wasn't just a clever marketing ploy or an effort to stay relevant. It was deeply rooted in his personal struggles, need for self-expression. One of the most surprising insights into Bowie's life is how his iconic personas, like Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, and the Thin White Duke, were more than stage characters. They were manifestations of his inner battles with identity, fame, and addiction. Take Ziggy Stardust, for example. This flamboyant, androgynous rock star was Bowie's way of exploring themes of alienation and a desire to escape reality. As Ziggy, Bowie crafted an otherworldly figure who existed beyond the confines of human norms. But beneath the glitter and eccentricity, Ziggy reflected Bowie's own feelings of being an outsider. Grappling with fame and artistic pressure, at the height of Ziggy's popularity, Bowie famously killed the character on stage, signaling both the end of an era and his own need to shed the persona that had overtaken him. Aladdin Sane, often referred to as Ziggy Goes to America, delved even deeper into the darker side of fame. Bowie was now a global superstar, but with that success came the temptations of excess. Aladdin Sane symbolized the chaos and instability Bowie experienced during his rise to fame, reflecting the internal conflict between the desire for success and the toll it took on his mental and physical health. The iconic lightning bolt across his face became a symbol of his fractured dual existence. Perhaps Bowie's most unsettling character was the thin white Duke, a cold, emotionless figure that emerged during a particularly dark period in Bowie's life. The Duke, who appeared during the Station to Station era, mirrored Bowie's struggle with addiction and his flirtation with fascist imagery. Bowie later admitted that during this time he was deeply disconnected from reality, and the Duke reflected his persona, demons, alienation, paranoia, and effects of substance abuse. His character embodied the dangers of losing oneself to fame and addiction. What's remarkable is how Bowie used personas not just as masks, but as tools for survival and self-discovery. Each transformation was a way for him to process his own fears and insecurities, allowing him to explore different aspects of his identity in public but in a controlled way. His artistic reinventions became a form of therapy, a way to cope with the pressures of fame and addiction and the constant need to redefine himself. In many ways, Bowie's personas were both a protection and a reflection of his deepest vulnerabilities. Embracing these characters, he was able to channel his anxieties into groundbreaking art while simultaneously challenging social norms around identity, gender, and performance. It's the combination of personal struggle and artistic genius that makes David Bowie not just a musician, but a living piece of art, a man who sold the world. In doing so, he revealed so much of himself. David Bowie remains one of the most multidimensional artists in history. His genius lay in the ability to weave personal struggles, cultural rebellion, and artistic exploration into timeless music and fashion. What's your favorite Bowie factor era? Share in the comments. And don't forget to check out our next video on more iconic musicians who changed the face of music. Thank you for your time. Creep Factor out.